Okay, I gotta do an update. I did one for the Nailsin News over the Olivia Munn thing, so it's time to do this. With this one, I should have anticipated it, but again, I am under the weather. So Warner Brothers issued a statement on this, according to Variety, and I'm assuming they're being honest, because I just assumed that Hollywood Reporter knew what it was talking about. But the statement goes, while no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect for and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged. That's not really a denial that they parted ways on Superman. It just means they have a good relationship with him, and he might appear in other films that they might want to do down the road and that sort of thing. But as far as Superman goes, that's not really a denial, but it's not a confirmation either, that they have no plans for new Superman films. Well, that's bad news in and of itself. So, Henry Cavill's agent, Danny Garcia, she said, "Be peaceful. The cape is still in his closet. Warner Brothers has been and continues to be our partners as they evolve the DC universe. Anticipate a Warner Brothers statement later today." Now, she did hers earlier. The timestamps at 10:45 this morning. And then the Variety tweet was at 12:33. So I don't know exactly when Warner Brothers issued this statement, but I'm assuming that's the one that she was expecting. But still, hers is a little more optimistic about him remaining Superman, but it's still not a confirmation or denial. Interestingly enough, Bounding Into Comics was talking about this, and they reminded people that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's supposed to be Black Adam, part of the Shazam story, and that he would get his own film as Black Adam, and they would tell that whole story. And he was gung-ho for having Henry Cavill appear in the film as Superman, so... And interestingly enough, Danny Garcia is his ex-wife, and she's still his manager. So it's a small world, isn't it? So I'm wondering, would this upset Dwayne Johnson if he can't have Henry Cavill on board as Superman? And there's been some rumblings that he might be wanting to back out of the whole thing altogether. That could be the case too. Who knows? But so it's a strange thing, and it's a similar, somewhat over. It has to be the money dealing with Cavill, and it says his scheduling conflicts, but I'm not really buying that too much. Yes, he had a lot to do with the Mission Impossible movie and all that, and then he's got this Witcher TV series coming up, but to film cameos, I'm not buying that. So saying there's no Superman films, that doesn't necessarily rule out him appearing in the other films and cameos and whatnot. And especially with Shazam, it just would have made a lot of sense for him to be in it, but I guess they could use old footage or something for Billy Batson to watch him on TV or something like that. But anyway, but the idea that they had no plans for another Superman film, that's, don't like hearing that. And then they're going forward with Supergirl, but Supergirl's not going to replace Superman. And if you're thinking that, it just betrays the obvious that people at Warner Brothers don't understand this DC comic book universe, and they need somebody who does in order to right that ship. And these directions just shows to me they don't have anybody there that appreciates and respects it. I mean, if you drop Superman altogether, that's a huge mistake, and you might as well go back to the standalone films that have nothing to do with each other if you're going to be doing that. Another little tidbit story was that there was apparently some discussion of Michael B. Jordan playing Superman. There is stories within the DC universe where there's a parallel universe where there was a Val Zod character on a brand new Earth 2, not the original Earth 2. I know it's confusing. And he became that world's Superman after a long series of events. Interestingly enough, the story did involve a Superman being taken over by Darkseid and turned evil. Later it was revealed he was just a clone of Superman, but nevertheless, that seemed to be kind of the hint and plot of Batman versus Superman and the Justice League that would have happened had it gone through, I guess. That's what Batman was worried about, that Superman could turn evil under the control of Darkseid, and that, so that, will they still be following that storyline and end up with a black Superman? I don't know, but I think this is much ado about nothing when it comes to that. There seems that are going forward with a Supergirl film, and that she would be their super person. And Michael B. Jordan as Superman is probably more of a sort of like Idris Elba being James Bond, which turned out not to be true. Idris Elba himself confirmed that. And people like to toy around with that stuff. They shouldn't, but they do. And interesting enough, Henry Cavill is one that's in the talks, possibly to succeed Daniel Craig as the next James Bond. So Warner Brothers again needs to get its act together, and you can't just eliminate Superman from your DC universe like that. If you can't get Cavill, then yeah, you're gonna have to recast it, and you need to poop or get off the pot. Anyway, there's the update. Again, apologies for being under the weather, but I figured I should do that considering things have changed since the first video I did. So there you have it. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll do it again, hopefully when I'm in better health.